Shalom Truth Seekers, just wanted to do a quick update for sundial efforts for the upcoming seasonal transition or the fall equinox if you're north of the equator. So posting all the pictures to this live Facebook group, and if you check the description in the I'll put a link in the description below this video for a shared folder that will have all the photos from everyone collecting data around the world. But just want to share, I guess, the latest as of today. It looks like we had Erin Ryan collecting out in Utah, and she is using the armillary sundial, and she does also use the straight line. I think she's got another video here with the straight line, but I think at least one or both of the methods were still showing a curve as of the 20th today. The summer curve. And then we had a few submissions here. This first one came from Squirrely Nations in Oklahoma, and his data is going to be really interesting to see because he was one of the first people to see the straight line in the spring, so he's like right next to the Creator's International date line. So it'll be interesting to see if he's among the first or the last to see the line this fall. But I guess he was having some trouble collecting points in the morning because of overcast weather, and he was using a small board, but then he switched halfway through the day. I think the rain was like raining on his paper or something, so he switched to a taller sundial, and I think he's using this pole in the ground and some stakes in the ground. And the neat thing about this, and I really think more people need to try this if they have the flat land. I unfortunately live in West Virginia, and I just don't have flat land, but I think this can potentially be a very easy method for people. You've got to make sure you have flat land and just, follow the shadow on your flat land. And because it's such bigger pattern, like I think it'll be more pronounced, like the curve. So you might not need like a full day of data to see that curve because everything's so much bigger. You'll be able to see the slight difference. And so anyway, he did believe he was still seeing this summer curve in this data. You can kind of see his far stake by the broom handle, and then a near stake, and that middle stake, which I'm assuming he must have done solar noon or something, is still off of the line. And we had our youngest sundialer that I'm aware of, Asher in New Zealand, New Zealand. Forgive my ignorance in geography, but used to know all that stuff. But anyway, New Zealand, and that looks pretty good. The data was from 7:53 a.m. to 1:56 p.m. So that's pretty good. This setup looks excellent. I wonder where is the morning. I can't quite read which one was morning, but maybe he got cut off in the afternoon because of clouds. But I encourage you, Asher, to make sure you get a full day of data all the way into the pretty much as late in the evening as you can. And but this is good. It's kind of hard to tell when you don't get a big spread of data, but it does look like this is showing still a slight curve, and it's most pronounced in the morning and the late evening. So you can see it kind of hooks most at the beginning of this data set to the left, and it kind of straightens out near the middle of the day. But it's the early morning and late evening points that hook the most, and so he got one of the early morning points, and you can see that hook. And if he had got the evening points, it would have hooked the same on the other side. So it just would have made it easier to see that straight line. But we're getting close, and I think that was definitely good practice. And let's see. This is just going back a couple days, I guess, from the 18th, still seeing a curve up in British Columbia, Canada. And this is excellent data set. So she pulled the line between, and you can still see some of those points are off the line, I guess. It kind of looks like maybe she straddled the curve around all those points. So one thing I might recommend is a finer string, because that piece of twine's pretty, it can get a little thick for these fine points. But maybe a finer string, and maybe put the string from your first morning point and then make sure it's like above all these other points. So not like kind of wrapped around them, but like from morning point to evening point, straight line. That way you can see these points in the middle, how they're offset from the line. It kind of looks like they are going, she just kind of wrapped them around all those other pins. So just something to keep in mind. And then this is coming from Mississippi. And this was from the 17th, and we're still seeing curves, summer curves, and it looks like there's a good spread of data from 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. That's definitely should be adequate to be able to see the straight line, so good job with your practice there. Been hearing a lot of people running into clouds or morning fog and stuff, and I just want to encourage you, don't give up. If you're able to collect even just one day of data in the next 3 days, like that can be very useful to compare with what other people were seeing. So and this method out in the yard, seeing him do this really got me fired up. And actually, I just realized I live in West Virginia. It's really hilly outside, but as long as you have a flat piece of ground, you can do this. It has to be flat, and you can see his ground's nice and flat here. But I do think I might have a portion of my yard that is somewhat flat. So I'm going to be trying with a couple different boards, but I'm also going to try something like this in my yard, in the flattest part of my yard, and see if it correlates. Because I just have a strong feeling it's going to be very much easier to see the straight line and the two opposite curves if you use a taller setup like this, because everything's bigger and everything will be more pronounced. So if I just encourage you, if you have the flat line, try this. If you have the flat land, try this method. All right, so that's the update for now. Stay tuned. We'll be posting the pictures live as I receive them to this Facebook group, Solar Tracking Observations Confirming the Creator's Times via Genesis 1:14. And yeah, we'll be posting everything live as it comes in. People will be sharing to this group, and we'll be trying to collect everything to this group. And in the end, I'll put another summary video together of it all. But stay tuned for more. Shalom, and may Abba bless you. You should continually seek out His truth and love with a pure heart.